Welcome back, race fans. In the last episode, we prepped the engine bay and got the engine bay painted white. Today my plan is to fix the hole in the back of the big dent in the back of the car, then prep the surface in here as best as I can, paint it black, get the roll cage painted white, and then finally, if I get time, start putting stuff back in the engine bay. So brake lines, brake booster, the new engine mounts, and then the engine. So stick around and you'll see how I do a cheap trim-clad paint job on the inside of the car.
First things first, we have to address the dent in the back of the car. My plan here is to mark the area I wish to cut out. Then I'm going to drill holes big enough to fit my jigsaw in, jigsaw as much of it as I possibly can, and then for the areas I can't get the jigsaw in, I'll get the zip disc out and zip disc at the rest. So once that I have the panel cut out, now I've got to make the edges as smooth and as clean as possible to try and get really good welds when I weld in the panel that's going to cover up this hole. So with the back cut out, this is the new plate that's welded in. Closes up the hole. What I'll probably do is just give that a quick trim clad spray so it don't rust, but it's not pretty, but it's functional. So just a quick dirty rattle can paint job, bit of primer, bit of white, stop it rusting. Don't look too bad. To fit the K-Series shifter into this car, I've got to remove this little lip where the original shifter sat, as the shifter box for the K-Series is a cable shifter and not a solid bar which runs through the transmission tunnel. Simple plan here, zip disc it off, flap a disc down for paint, and then I have a piece of box aluminium which I'm just going to bolt onto the transmission tunnel and then add the shifter there. And if you're enjoying the series, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification icon. Alright, just some quick tips that I've learned over basically making the mistakes. First off, two types of gun. This is a $60 gun from Princess Auto. This is a $250 gun from an auto paint shop. To be honest, I've had exact same results with both of them. One thing that I do advise, especially if you're using a smaller compressor, is a pressure regulator valve. A lot of shops actually tune their compressors into the pressure that you need for the gun. I don't. If you look on the gun, this one says max 43 psi, and unfortunately on the cheap gun it says max psi bar, then doesn't actually say anything. So maybe check the box before you figure out. I'm going to be using the nice gun today, set to probably 40 psi. So, trim clad paint jobs, Rust-Oleum if you're in the US. Obviously, if you get a rattle can, you're just going to spray it on.
Do you need primer? Do you not need primer? It all depends on what kind of surface you're doing and how nice a finish you want. I'm not going to be using primer on the inside of the car because I just want to get it covered to make it look a bit neater. The thinner I'm going to use is going to be acetone, it can also be paint thinner, and then the hardener is a standard VOC hardener from U-Pol. My mixing ratios are going to be 4 paint, pen doesn't work, 3 reducer, 1 hardener. And the way I do that is I'm going to be using these. These things are a lifesaver, and then the cone filter to put it in the gun. So 4-3-1, if you look on the top, basically it gives you your ratios 1-to-1, 2-1-5, 3-1-1, 4-1-1, etc. This one doesn't have a 4-3-1, so I'm going to use the numbers down the side. Apart from that, I'll then go over a quick way of setting up my gun, and then I'll mix the paint. Fill your gun with acetone to try and set up your gun. Basically you want to be roughly 6 to 8 inches away and try and get a 6 to 8 inch fan. So I'll probably need a bit more fluid. See my fan's a little bit, so bring it down a bit. Six to 7 inches, so let's try it with some paint. When mixing paint, if you have the chance and you've just bought a can, get it shook up at the store. If not, give the paint a good mix if it's been sat for a while. A good way to tell if it's been sat too long is you'll feel residue at the bottom, like it'll be hard, whereas I can actually feel the bottom of the can here, so that's not too bad. And it looks fairly nicely mixed. So I'm going to go 4 parts paint, 3 parts acetone, 1 part hardener. Okay, there's the paint. Now me personally, I don't like pouring straight out of this because it goes everywhere, so I'm going to put it in one of these and then top it up. So there's my 3 parts thinner. In you go. And then the hardener. Alright, now you've got to give this a really good mix. Some people use a whisk, buy the mixers from the store, use a drill. One thing about when you're mixing it though, when you go with a whisk in, don't just put it straight, put it to a side to get it to come up and down. Okay, that looks really good. Grab the gun.
always tries to use a comb filter if you can. That'll then save you any issues in your gun. Now, unfortunately, my $200 paint gun, the lid doesn't stay on, so good old masking tape. Duct tape again. Just making sure that you don't plug the hole in the top. Right, time to test my gun settings. Ladybird. Probably do dialing up the fluid. There we go. And you basically want to get 70% coverage. Put down one line and then overlap by 70%. All right, I think it's time to paint the car. As you can see, in a confined space, the overspray actually holds in the air, so a mask is a must. The inside is painted. My advice to painting the inside of a car is don't. Especially with a roll cage in. It's uncomfortable, it's dirty, it gets everywhere, you end up coughing your guts up. I personally hate painting the insides of cars, race cars, everything. But it doesn't need to be kind of like show car quality in here. It just needs to get rid of some of the rust and some of that grey primer. And overall, I don't think it looks like a bad job. Again, pain in the ass, stay away from it if you can, but otherwise, this is kind of what it looks like. Right, on to the next part. That's it for this video. Didn't get everything I wanted into it, but next time we'll be putting the engine bay back together. So brake lines, subframes, traction bars, engine mounts, and hopefully we'll have the engine mounted. Thanks again for your support, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next video.